how orange that stuff is. However, our passenger side area needs a little bit of help, as you can see. So, as we kind of talked about in the last video, I was kind of getting stalled out on my truck a little bit because we're waiting on parts. So rather than just waiting a week to post a video, I still want to post stuff, but I want to make a good content for you guys. So I want to work on this car, but unfortunately we're still waiting on the quarter panels to show up and a couple other sheet metal pieces to kind of finish off the body work on this one. So unfortunately we can't work on this car. But we can work on this car. Now it needs a little bit of work before paint, but stuff like simple body work. We have a little bit of metal work to do. As you saw, the roof in the last wheel video isn't quite in the greatest of shape. We're gonna strip down all the trim off the car, get the wheels and some of the suspension pieces back off the car for final paint and prep, paint a lot of the parts that got scratched in the engine bay, rewire the whole car, do a couple interior pieces, and the car will be ready for paint and final assembly, and then this thing's done. I said that, done. I actually would be finishing a car at that point to where I'll decide if I wanna just drive it and enjoy it, or we'll sell it and maybe one of you guys will end up with it. But for now, we've got a lot of work to do, so let's get into this video because there is a ton of stuff that's gonna change in this car, so let's get right to it. So the first thing that's important to me is having a decent workstation. You guys might have noticed I just redid these lights. This is actually a Harbor Freight carport. It's like $100, and then the lights were actually on sale for like 14 bucks a piece at Harbor Freight. So I hooked those up with some chains and zip ties and ran the extension cord down so I can plug it in my garage. And now I have lighting out here, which is awesome because I didn't have that before. So now we can actually work at night when it's, you know, pretty much pitch black outside. We'll have good lighting, so that's really great. But we have a little bit of a mess going on outside, so I got to clean everything up out here, give myself a good workspace, because if I'm taking stuff off that car, I gotta have somewhere to put everything, so it's kind of important. All right, so the first thing I want to do is get the fuel system kind of taken out and organized. So I'm going to drain the tank, and the one thing I noticed is actually pretty cool is this tank specifically has a drain on it. Oh, and you can see that right there. It's got a little drain, so I'm going to pull that guy, drain as much as I can in here, because the one time I drove the car I topped the fuel tank off like an idiot, so that was kind of dumb. So now I got to drain all the fuel out of it and get that tank pulled. Oh my God. That's not good. All right, guys, I just want you to listen to this, because if you can't see it, that's one thing, but if you can just listen. I know you can't see much, but so that is rust, sediment, and all sorts of other junk that has since landed in my my gas tanks. That's sick. And I think we might be putting a trunk pan in this thing, so that's pretty rad. That is the carpet. Damn it. I did not want to put a trunk pan in one of these cars, but I guess I am. Great. Yay, so that's sick. You can see it took most of the floor with it. Oh my God, just look at that. Dang. Yeah, you can definitely hear all the junk in this tank sloshing around. That was the reason I pulled it. It's a good condition tank. You can see there's not really much wrong with it. It looks like it's been replaced before, but I want to clean all the junk out of it so I know my fuel system is not only clean, but it's been serviced. So I'm just going to go through everything. So we're probably going to put some solvent in this thing and kind of slosh it around and clean it out, and then we'll end up putting it back in once we get the kind of trunk pan fixed and the underside of the car painted. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take the rear bumper off because I need to, and hopefully this comes off the way I want it. Friggin' foot. Alright, well I pulled that drain plug after I stripped it with vice grips, and check that out. Look how orange that stuff is. Hell yeah. Oh, this stuff reeks. Yeah, I really didn't honestly think the gas tank was that full in the red car, so I just kind of like pulled the fuel line off the back, and it was apparently over half tank because it went all the way down my arm and all the way into my sweatshirt, and I got varnish all over my sweatshirt, and I just washed it, so that's sick. All right, so we got our fuel tank out of this one. The bottom of this car looks great, which is awesome. You know, there's no issues here. The other car is and a different story. You know, I just got it cleaned up, threw a bunch of this junk away. These are the old heads off my truck that I'll never use again. But I didn't think the rest of this car was that terrible, honestly, really at all, until I got under the car and found this. So there quite literally is no sugarcoating that. That's the carpet. That's not the floor. You can see the floor is like hanging down there in that spot. It goes up all the way forward. It's right about there. And it stops. But it's all the way across the frame rail. Or not quite, it goes right up to the frame rail. It's really just the trunk pan itself. But you can see that's definitely not good. So we're gonna have to put a pan in this car, which I didn't want to do. But I never noticed it because obviously it has a carpet in it. And when I put my hand on the floor, it'd be hard because I was pressing on the fuel tank. But fuel tank's out now. You can hear it crunching. Gross. I don't even want to think about it. But that'll be something we have to do now. So this car's got to get some rust repair in a couple different spots. Like I said before, Automail Direct is supplying a set of quarter panels for this car, so we're going to use the old quarter panel pieces to repair this one. The quarter panel itself is in good shape, but the wheel well isn't. So we're probably going to take the wheel well section out of my red car and stitch it into this one. So hopefully I can fix all this junk. Because like you can see, this is all just bondoed in. It's just a bunch of junk, so we're gonna have to cut that whole thing out. But yeah, that's just not what I wanted to hear today. So with that being said, I think now we're gonna go ahead and take the seat out so I can get that started. Take most of the interior apart, get the seats out, carpet out, and get ready to put a new carpet kit in this thing. This one I will just throw up on Craigslist. All right, so now you guys can kind of see the issue of the seat is the whole bracket's actually bent and shifted. You can see right there, it's been like pulled to one side, and you can tell it's been repaired multiple times. In here is all bent and broken. It has a stop, and then you can see this entire brace is bent all the way across. Look, they got a bolt in it to hold it steady because the whole thing snapped. As you can see, it's supposed to be here. It's where the seat's supposed to sit. But it goes all the way back there, so you like sit in the back seat with this seat. So I'm probably gonna throw this thing up, you know, for like 40 bucks. Somebody can come get it. I know it's, you know, you can fix it. I have a spare seat I might as well use. But inside the car looks actually pretty good. I get to finally go through all the junk that was underneath the seat because we're gonna put a new carpet kit in this car. But the floors look great. I mean, check this out. Here's the original color of the car. There's the champagne gold right there. And you can see it even better right here. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So this thing still has a good floor in it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and vacuum everything out and then pull the old carpet out and start pulling wiring and get ready for the new carpet kit.
Because they're going to be able to see it, but the nickel from 1975. That's been in there for quite a while.
Oh boy, man, I just can't catch a break with this car. This side of the floor pan all looks good. However, our passenger side area needs a little bit of help. As you can see, it looks like the spot wells have kind of finally separated right here. So basically it looks like right around here up and over, we're gonna have to replace this corner section, which is easy. I mean, they make that panel, so we'll go ahead and get one and stitch it in. It shouldn't be too hard, which is kind of annoying because now I gotta do a full pan in the trunk, that's probably gonna be the most difficult. And then a quick little passenger floor pan corner. That side's good. You can see there's no holes over there. It's just a bunch of grimy sound deadening pieces. There's no holes there, and the rest of this looks good. So in the meantime, what I'm gonna be doing is going ahead and spraying a rust converter on the surface of the floor, just so I don't have to worry about any future rust for whoever owns it after me. Kind of as a little bit of preventative maintenance, I guess you could call it. I got some Rust-Oleum rust converter primer. I'm going to spray over this whole thing, so when we put the carpet in, it all at least looks good. But in case you guys didn't know, in previous videos, this is the original color of the car. This is the champagne gold. You can see it right there. It's actually a pretty nice color. I'm not too much of a fan of it. But if you notice, which is actually kind of funny, on my red car, you can see that exact same color again right there. They're the exact same color car. They're twins. But yeah, I want to go and get this thing primered up. Oh man, we got parts galore. It's the next morning, and you can see my broken seat now. I don't know if I showed you this earlier, but this is actually completely broken. Got the exhaust out of my red one, got the bumper off. The bumper is slightly bent, so I'm definitely gonna need a new front bumper. I got both the rear bumpers off so I can figure out which one I like better for my red car. Fuel tanks are out, new fenders, spare fenders are over there. Got most of this car apart. I got the headlights and taillights out of it. Got my trunk out of it, my quick disconnect trunk. You know, that came out with the fuel tank, unfortunately. But I'm gonna leave most of the trunk floor still in it so I can put stuff in the trunk to store it. Got the interior out of it. Went ahead and put some rust converter primer over the front of the floor pan area, and I'm leaving the back seat area. I'm not gonna touch anything back here, there's no reason to. But yeah, pretty happy with that. I did order a floor pan for that side. I got a repair, so that's kind of a bummer. But re-gapped the door now actually shuts perfectly. Took most of the front end apart. That's probably about as far as I'll end up going. I'll take that front valence out so I can get painted, but really the only thing I have to take off is the fenders themselves. I gotta reroute the fuel line inside here. You can see it goes up and over the frame and kind of right by the headers there, which I'm gonna change. I'm gonna make it go outside the frame and under the control arm, kind of keep the heat away, and then I'm gonna run a return line setup. So hopefully it keeps my fuel temps down and I don't have any vapor locking issues anymore. But you can see the fuel tank over here. Took most of the trunk floor with it, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, that was not what I was expecting to find actually in that car. Kind of sucks. You can see the trunk floor in this car is perfect. Nothing wrong with it. But this one sucks, so. But anyways, in the next video, we're probably going to be pulling most of the trim off the car and finally getting to sanding and uncovering, you know, what more rust I can find and what more body damage there is. What kind of work I have ahead of me in terms of paint, because that's kind of the road I'm going, is getting the paint done. I got to fix the floor pan and get the interior ready for carpet and rewire it, and then go ahead and get the body ready to go for paint. So with that being said, like the video if you did enjoy it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video with the white Galaxie. Bye guys.